Good morning, traders. This is a live trade recap. I took 3 trades at the market open and I got them all on video. I decided to do a recap because the video is very long, as you can see. And again, there's a lot of other things that I have to talk about that happened. So let's get to the first trade here. It was Clsn. And if you watched my videos from earlier, you know that Webull was glitching. And I checked it before the market opened and it appeared to be working fine, but it wasn't. And I noticed it as soon as the market opened. And at that point, I should have just walked away. I should have closed down Webull and said, you know what, trading is difficult enough already without having to deal with glitches. Let me just take the rest of the day off. And instead I didn't. I said, you know, I'll refresh and I'll make it work and blah, 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 whatever. And that's not a good thing. So yeah, here was the first sign: is the market open and the price flushed down on Clsn, and it immediately bounced back here on the 5-minute chart, but not on the 1-minute chart. So the 1-minute chart was frozen. So that was the first red flag, you know, that Webull, excuse me, Webull was glitching, and I should have just closed it down, but instead I just refreshed. And then this is kind of like adding insult to injury. This is the way, I guess, you know, the stock market can kind of seduce you into thinking, okay, you're doing the right thing, you know, by hanging around here, even though the platform isn't working great, because it basically gave me the signal that I want to see right away, which is breaking through the pre-market high. I want to see that, and then I look for an entry after a pullback. But you know, if you guys watch my videos, you know I only trade ABCD patterns, 3 and 4 bar plays, and that's pretty much it. I used to trade a lot more patterns, but they're just not consistent enough. So so here, if you want to call this an ABCD pattern, then this is point A, this is B, and then C needs to stay, you know, it can't come much lower than 50 or 60% of that range. If it does, then it's really weak. So let's see what happened. So it actually comes down below point A. So that's not an ABCD pattern anymore. But I basically talked myself into it because I said, look, it did exactly what I wanted to. It made it through the pre-market high. So this is still a pullback, which, yeah, it's true, but this isn't an ABCD pattern anymore. It's a reversal. It's a reversal play, which I don't trade anymore because they don't work often enough. And that's what happened here. So this is the first reversal, and I took it. And I had these... I changed my hotkeys for today because of the glitches to automatically enter in a take profit and stop loss, and then they're just at arbitrary places. And then once the order is placed and they're on the screen, then I just adjust them to where my real stop loss and take profit is. So 231 was the stop loss, and the take profit I think was 264. So the beauty of that is now I don't have to do anything. And if the stock goes crazy, I'm protected one way or the other. Either it's going to stop me out or it's going to hit my profit target. So it stopped me out, which I deserved that because this was not one of my setups. You know, I kind of talked myself into it. So that wasn't good. I actually, you know, broke a rule there. But I should say this, because I was able to talk myself into it, I immediately put in a new rule at the beginning of my plan. If an ABCD pattern pulls back below point A, that's what happened there. Is I was looking at it like it was an ABCD pattern. You can't take a trade. So I was calling it ABCD so that I could still trade it, because if I called it a reversal, I can't trade it. So now this is a way for me to keep myself from being able to talk myself into a position like that again. So that's the best thing you can do when you make you know, a stupid mistake like that. So that was it for Clsn. Let's move on to the next trade, because that thing never came back up near the highs, so there was no reason to watch it anymore. So ACST popped up on the screener, the one-day screener. It was like number 1 or 2 on the volume, and it broke out through the pre-market high. So again, that's my favorite signal to look for an entry. And basically, I wait for a pullback and then enter as soon as the top of a 1-minute candle is broken, and that happened right here. 107 was where I was looking to get in, and it hit 107, and I got in, got filled at 107. And again, these are arbitrary, so I adjust them to just below the low of the previous candle, and then there's my 2R target. And and then I get stopped out. So this trade in and of itself is not really that bad of a setup, but I should not have been in that trade because that Clsn trade was really my third failed trade of the day, because I took 2 trades that failed in the pre-market, and I follow the 3 strikes you're out rule. If you have 3 failed trades, then you can't trade any longer. Now, I broke that rule today, and I kind of made an exception to it, which is not good. You should never make exceptions to your rules. It almost never works out. And the reason why I made the exception was because I said, you know what, those first 2 losses weren't really my fault. Weeble was glitchy, you know, blah, 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 whatever. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you really just need to stick to your rules, and it would have saved me some money today if I did that. Doesn't matter why the trade failed or why, you know, if it's red, it's red. And if you're excuse me, if your plan says that after 3 red trades or 3 failed trades that you have to stop, you got to stop. So instead of walking away after that trade, I decided to look for one more entry. I have trouble getting in because of at this price, you have to have 3 digits after the decimal point. And I guess when I hit my hotkey to buy, it doesn't do that automatically. So, excuse me, I had to put in a limit order to get in at 101, and basically it blew right past that and didn't fill me, so I canceled it. Then I tried to get it on the pullback here, and I got filled and put in another bracket order and got stopped out. So that was another loss that didn't need to happen. So anyway, I just, hopefully you guys see how things can just go from bad to worse. I also put in this rule: if Weeble glitches during the pre-market, just assume it will be glitchy all day. You know, in other words, don't come back and check it and like I did today and think, okay, it's working better now, I could trade. Yeah, that hurt me really bad today. So basically I lost $6.82 today. That's really bad because my max stop is 1% of my account, so it should be around $5.30. So that's more than I'm allowed to lose, and I took more losing trades than I should have today as well. So this is the pre-market right here. That was 2 failed trades, and then this was the first market open trade. That was number 3. That should have been it, but I made an excuse because Weeble was glitchy in the pre-market, that they weren't my fault and I could look for another entry. I did that, and it ended up just costing me a lot more money. So not a good thing. So I was green on the week as of this morning or yesterday. Now I'm red on the week. Totally my fault. And on the month, I'm still green, but just barely. And that's really sad because I was up $15 at one point on the month. So I've given back a lot of my profit. So this is not good. I really need to just straighten up and be extremely careful, because you can see how even when you have good, decent, I would consider myself to have decent discipline for a day trader, especially a newer one. But I'm not perfect. And I would consider my plan and my strategy to be pretty strong and conservative. But you can see that every day that comes along, there might be something new that catches you off guard, and there's nothing in your plan or your strategy at that point to protect you from it. So the best thing you could do is fall back on your other rules, like my 3 strikes you're out rule. That would have saved me. I didn't follow that because I made an excuse about it. So anyway, I just want to remind you, I added these 2 rules, and this should help avoid some of the pitfalls that I fell into today. And other than that, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry that I didn't trade as well as I could have today, or at least I didn't follow my rules as well as I should have today. Hopefully you guys are doing better than me. And at least, I want to be honest with you and show you exactly what happened and explain to you, why it happened. So hopefully this helps you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.